So, yesterday was one of those days where the markets just exhaled and said, "Finally!" Hey everyone, it's Thursday morning, December 11th, and welcome back to Capital Markets Quickie. I'm your host, Endrit Sela, here to break down yesterday's market action in just 2 minutes. Quick note before we dive in, today's episode is brought to you by AMF Capital Asset Management Frankfurt. Learn more about our funds and strategies at amf-capital.de. Alright, let's get started. Well, yesterday the big story was the Federal Reserve. The central bank cut interest rates by a 1/4 percentage point in its final policy decision of the year. And honestly, the tone was pretty upbeat. Chair Jerome Powell sounded confident about where inflation is headed and about the overall strength of the U.S. economy. Markets loved it. The Dow Jones climbed about 1%, roughly 500 points. The Standard & Poor's 500 added 0.7% and finished just a hair below a record close. The Nasdaq Composite was up almost 0.3%, and the small-cap Russell 2000 hit a fresh all-time high. So basically, everything was green. Now, even though the Fed cut rates for the 3rd time this year, it signaled that things may slow down from here. Officials projected just one more cut for 2026. After yesterday's move, the benchmark rate now sits in a range between 3.5% and 3.75%. The vote wasn't exactly united. Two Fed presidents, Jeff Schmid from Kansas City and Austin Goolsbee from Chicago, wanted to hold rates steady. But on the other side, Governor Stephen Moran pushed for a bigger cut of 0.5 percentage point. Powell acknowledged the tension in the Fed's dual mandate, but also said that President Trump's tariffs, which he blamed for a recent overshoot of the inflation target, should still be a one-time price bump. And he highlighted strong economic momentum, especially around AI-driven growth. After the bell, we had some pretty big earnings updates from Oracle and Adobe. Oracle reported revenue of $16.1 billion for its second fiscal quarter, up 13% in constant currency, but still missing expectations. Earnings per diluted share jumped 91% to $2.10, and net income climbed 89% to $6.1 billion. Oracle said it's more than halfway through building 72 multi-cloud data centers with Amazon, Google, and Microsoft, and that its multi-cloud database business grew 817% in the quarter. According to the CEO, that strategy is definitely paying off. Then we had Adobe. The company posted fourth quarter revenue of $6.19 billion, up 10% from last year and ahead of expectations. Subscription revenue grew 11.6% to $5.9 billion. Net income rose just over 10% to $1.8 billion, and diluted earnings per share jumped 17% to $4.45. For the full year 2025, Adobe generated revenue of $23.77 billion and delivered earnings per share of $16.70, up 35%. The CEO said Adobe's record results reflect its growing role in the global AI ecosystem and strong adoption of its AI platforms, and the company is now targeting double-digit annual recurring revenue growth for fiscal 2026. And that's the quick version of yesterday. Big central bank moves, markets cheering, and tech earnings keeping things interesting. Alright, that wraps up today's Capital Markets Quickie. Join me again tomorrow morning for more market updates. See you then.